what goes into, as an artist, you saying, you know what? Because initially you were saying you were trying to make an album in one day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to make an album in one day. What was the inspiration of it? And then, how do you feel like now that it's out and people are receiving it, the reception to this project?
Well, thank y'all for having me this evening. Shout to One Hood and Jasiri. Jasiri has to tell you the story of.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. I have the picture. Yes, I have proof.
I've developed this cackle laugh too over the years. So if you're expecting, how does Lupe laugh? And they're like, it ain't that. It's like, ah. So maybe a couple of those. Prepare yourself. So yeah. So Drill Music in Zion. I think it's my eighth album, and the story goes. I'm trying to be truncated. My manager called me. My manager's name is Chill. He's in prison.
Yes.
He's been in prison since the coup. He called me and was like, "Yo, I need you to do an album." I was like, "Yo, I'm working on this other album over here. I'll just finish that." He's like, "No. I want you to do something. Just do something new." I'm like, "You're in jail. You haven't heard any of these songs." What are you talking about? He's like, "Nah, just do something, whatever, do something new." So and I was kind of figuring out like what I wanted to do, what I want to talk about. And as of late, I've been doing very conceptual stuff, very conceptually themed. Like I'll pick a theme and I'll just start building on a theme. So with this one, it was kind of like I don't really have a concept in mind. So maybe it's not the concept that I'm gonna focus on. Maybe it's gonna be the process. It's like, what can I do from a procedural side?
Right.
And it was like, oh, what if I did an album in one day, right? And through the pandemic, I was just doing a bunch of Lucy freestyle
right.
things. I get an idea in the middle of the night and I do a record, and I was recording everything at home. And so I kind of worked up a nice little routine of how to like do things. And I was like, oh, I could do like a verse in like an hour, right? Or like 30 minutes, depending on what the beat is and what the vibe is. I was like, if I really put my all into it, I could maybe bang out like a whole album in 24 hours. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it, right?
And you didn't, like, did you have the beat production already, or was it like you had to get to production then write right away?
So the beautiful thing about being like really good friends with a producer, Soundtrack always sends me beats, right? And so I'll be sitting on at any given time 100 Soundtrack records, with dates from this one is from 2019, this one is from whatever. And so I just had all these beats, and I kind of had to pace myself and not listen to his beats. Because I would just listen to him, and I would never do songs to him. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try and finish the ones I already heard. And then these new ones, I'm going to just let them sit until I'm done with all of these, right? Have some discipline. And so when I was like, okay, I'm going to do drill music, I was like, oh, I have a bunch of beats that I've never heard. So I was like, all right, cool. So I went to that folder, and the first beat that came on, I was like, oh, we could do a song. Then first time I heard it, listen, so okay, now start.
And which song was that?
I think the very first record was the very first record. I think it was Fish. It's called Fish.
Okay.
So it's pronounced Fish, but it's spelled GHOTI.
Oh shit.
It was Fish. Yeah. Yeah, it's what I do for a living. And that was like the first record, and it was like the intro, because okay, I need an intro. And then it became, okay, next beat. And I can't remember what the next beat was. And so, because it got all fuzzy after that. But that was the process. I would lay a song, then I would, okay, now do another song, open a beat. First time I hit a beat, okay, do that. Then do it again, first time I hit a beat, okay, do that. And unless the beat was really, really weird, or if it was really something that was like a struggle to do because I didn't have the time, then I would like, okay, let me do another beat. But it would be another beat that I never heard before or something like that. And I thought, excuse me if I'm, you can cut me off if I'm going too long.
No, keep going.
I'll try and be faster. And by the time at the end of the first day, it was like, yo, I'm not gonna finish this in a day. I only got like so many songs. I'm getting tired. My voice is giving out. I had to use the bathroom. It was a whole bunch of
So you were
stuff.
recording the songs
as I was doing them, right?
Shit.
So I'm sitting there like, got the beat, Assassin's Creed, rapping it back in D, like I mentioned, it's like a fees, blah, blah. And then I was like, okay, let me record that. So by the end of the day, I only had like maybe 3 or 4 songs. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So it's like, okay, we're gonna do it the next day. So okay, and now I'm gonna do an album in 48 hours. And so the next day, bang through it, same thing, get through a quarter of the records. It's like, okay. I was like, I'm about to die. Like I'm in a physical space where it's like, yo, I'm hungry. I get just like it's all these crazy things are happening to me.
This is like David Blaine in the box type of thing.
I was just with David Blaine the other day. No, I was just with him, like a few days ago. It was crazy. So anyway, third day, it's like, okay, this is going to take 72 hours, and then I was like, I have to finish this today. Got through it, got to the last record, which I think was Phonem, on Phonem. And I remember thinking like, okay, I gotta do one more record to do 10 records. And I was modeling it after like Illmatic. And then I went back to Illmatic to count. And then I realized that the intro, Illmatic is really only 9 songs. It's not 10 songs, it's 10 tracks.
Right.
But the first track is the intro. So I was like, oh shit, I'm done. And that was the story, and I was like, oh, I'm done. And so in 3 days I did 9 records. Album, I painted the album cover, the whole internal. It was a procedural
like
thing.
After the project or before, like when you paint the album cover, is this?
So I paint, and I had this kind of sitting on ice. This painting was actually at Art Basel a few years ago, and I was like, I need an album cover. So I just went into like my storage room with my paintings and was like, that one.
Wow.
Right, put it on the ironing board, took a picture, put it in Photoshop, put it in the thing. it was real messy. It was real bad. But then once I got everything recorded, I sent it back to Soundtrack. Soundtrack did more production on top of it. We got some folks to come in and do choruses. They mixed and mastered it, and that was that. But the recording and writing and that whole process of putting the record together was 3 days.